All right, welcome back to KM6LYW Radio, the show about amateur radio or ham radio with an emphasis on digital or data modes, moving information back and forth using amateur radio, reimagining ham radio in the information age. Hey, today is a great example. We've got some new hardware to mess with here. We've got a DigiPi radio interface board. Let's talk about it this time on KM6LYW Radio. Okay, yeah, we're still doing the bumper music. Unbelievable. All right, I don't know. I know we did that one before, but I look back at it. It's like, man, I wasn't playing that right at all. So I think I got that one right. So let's talk about this radio interface board for the DigiPi. We're going to make amateur radio digital modes really easy now with this new board. Let's check it out. So first and foremost, I'd like to introduce Randy, a November 7 Echo Bravo Bravo N7 EBB. Randy came up with a way to make the DigiPi radio interface circuit really easy to build. Initially, I told people to build a push-to-talk circuit on their sound card. It looked a lot like this. This is a big, hairy mess, just kind of a bunch of squished components together. There's a little transistor there for push-to-talk. And we wire all of these audio lines to line in, line out on the FEPi audio card that Bud is making. Randy is kind of loosely related to Bud. So this radio interface board is from the same ham radio club that the FEPi audio card comes from. So this is some great handmade equipment. These guys up there are making some fantastic stuff, really advancing the art of amateur radio by making data modes more accessible by producing not only the FEPi audio card, but also this radio interface board. So it takes this really complicated circuit. In fact, this was the original DigiPi years and years ago. And, that I told people to just squish together kind of like this with a lot of solder and heat shrink. A lot of people kind of shied away from the soldering part of it. I mean, it can be intimidating, right? A soldering iron. I know I've got soldering iron burns. But Randy wanted to come out and say, hey, let's make this radio interface board, and he actually makes a kit for this. So this is the website right here. It is n7ebb.org, and this allows you to interface your radio, like your dual bander rig for VHF, UHF, to a Raspberry Pi, so you can get access to all of these digital modes. One person I wanted to introduce was KM6LYW Cat. Be a little more modest there. She's helping me out today doing radio cat stuff. So actually, she's got her tail and just wiped out all of our DigiPi stuff here. So anyways, I'm going to demote Cat to floor duty. All right, Radio Cat, let's hit the road. There you go. All right, sorry about that. I always wondered when the cat was going to photobomb one of these. Anyways, there you go. I'm going to leave that in for the cat lovers out there. That's Gadget, actually. Hey, what's up, G? G's hard of hearing. So anyways, we'll see how this goes with Cat in room. All right, back to Randy's board here. Let's talk about this. We're going to actually build one of these. This is the circuit board right here, this thing on the right, and he's got a couple of different options. So you can buy the board itself and all of the components and solder it yourself together, which is a totally fun project. In fact, this is what it ends up looking like when Randy ships it to you. Comes in a nice little bag, has everything you need, the little push-to-talk FET, all the LEDs and resistors, the little header, the custom printed circuit board, which is pretty cool. Or if you're not into all that, Randy's going to go ahead and solder one together for you and ship it to you complete. And for the low price of $28, that Randy's putting this together. I know that's coming in pretty cheap. I didn't have any say-so in the price on this, but Randy could charge more than that, because I don't like twisting all these wires together and soldering them. The printed circuit board makes it so easy. Or the third option here is you can just buy the board. And then, if you already got LEDs and transistors yourself and all the components you need, you can just buy the board for $10. He's having those printed and run. So n7ebb.org is where you want to get this stuff. And so I've got one put together here, and I'm going to assemble it for you guys. Let me see if I can make myself a lot smaller. I'll make this bigger. So this is kind of for the DigiPi project. Now you guys say, what's the DigiPi project? The DigiPi project, let me see if I can move me up here. We're out of control. All right, so for the DigiPi project, so the DigiPi is really a Raspberry Pi image. Here comes the cat. That you put in your Raspberry Pi, and it gives you access to every digital mode there is on for amateur radio, and it's an SD card, and this is for patrons of the channel. So once you insert the DigiPi SD card image into your Raspberry Pi, it's going to work with the DigiRig, and it's going to work with the FEPi audio board or audio injector. Or if you have a USB based radio, all you need is a Raspberry Pi like this. You don't need all of this extra stuff. So if you have a USB based radio, you honestly don't need any of this. But if you've got a dual bander rig, or like this, maybe you just got a little HT like this Baofeng. So you're going to need a dual band rig. Again, if you have a USB based radio, you don't need any of this stuff. All you need is a Raspberry Pi and a USB cable. But for the dual band rig like this Baofeng that we have here, we're going to need first of all, Raspberry Pi. This is Raspberry Pi 02 wireless. I put a battery on the bottom of it. That's totally optional. It just makes it a little more convenient. It has a little switch on the side. You're going to need a FEPi audio board. That's this guy right here, FEPi. It comes from Bud. I don't have the website here. It'll be in the notes, all of these parts. In fact, go see my other video on how to build a DigiPi. So the Raspberry Pi, a line level audio board, and a cool little monitor. This is like $12, right? You can get these pretty cheap. And then the board that we're talking about today, this is Randy's board right here, completely pre-assembled. It has LEDs for Bluetooth connectivity, so you know if your phone's connected. It has a green light for receive, red for transmit. It has a small selector switch here if you have a radio like the Yaesu FTM 400, which has a 9600 baud pin and a 1200 baud pin. You can select the input for that. So your radio can hook up to a TRRS here. You can make your own cable and hook it up to tip, ring, sleeve for audio in, audio out, push to talk. Or we've got this PS2 connector that he's added here, so you can go that route. A lot of radios already have this set up, this PS2 connector. So I elected to go with the PS2 route to hook this up to my Baofeng. So let's put this thing together. So again, we've got the Raspberry Pi here, just with the optional battery. And we've got the audio board here. There are 3 soldering connections you'll need to make to connect the audio board to the RIB, radio interface board. And those are pretty easy on the bottom of the FEPi. You can see right here we've got a ground, and then we've got left audio is the red one, and the right audio is this yellow one. This board's really easy to solder to. So only 3 solder connections, which gives you this little, what do they call this, JST connectors. That's going to connect to your radio interface board. So let's build this. So we soldered this stuff on. Now I'm going to smash this on to the Raspberry Pi, being really careful with the pins. Okay, now we've installed the audio board. As you guys can see that. I'm not monitoring the video very well here. That's that. Let me move this around here. I'm going to move me. I know this is hard to see. Move me up here. I don't know. Let's move me down here. All right, so the cat's not going to cooperate here. All right, we've got the Raspberry Pi and the audio board on there. Now we want to take the radio interface board, this guy, and hook him up to that little connector that we made, just like that. All right, and then we're going to smash this guy on here on the rightmost pins. Make sure you get them on the correct pins. He's going to go right there. If you get this part wrong, you could potentially short 5-volt and ground, which would pretty much destroy the Raspberry Pi, or at least the power supply. So make sure you get those pins right. And then of course, if you get this little $12 monitor, the DigiPi is going to use this to tell you what it's up to. So I'm going to squish that on there. So now we have a completed DigiPi. I call this a DigiPi rack. So it has a battery, a Raspberry Pi 02 wireless, an FEPi audio board. Now it has the DigiPi radio interface board, which Randy put together, and a cheap $12 display, ST7789 based display that DigiPi is going to use to tell you what it's doing. So what can you do with this thing? So if your radio doesn't have APRS, maybe you have a Baofeng like this, a very simple radio, you can hook this DigiPi stack up to the Baofeng radio. You're going to have to make your own cable. This is going to be line in, line out. In fact, I could probably show you guys come on, let's get out of the way. This is the cable I made. You're going to make a better cable than this, because I was just kind of twisting wires together out of some garbage I had in the garage, just so I could go from the Baofeng audio in, audio out, push to talk, and ground. Those are the 4 signals, and then they're represented here. He's got it very well documented on the paper that comes with the kit. I don't know if I can show you. Is that going to focus? Basically, it shows you how everything works. He also tells you to make sure you get the lead polarity right. This is the parts list here. I just want to make sure I showed you the documentation that he's providing. All right, and that's the pins for this. if they're correct, they go into our PS2 port. And then I'm going to turn the Raspberry Pi on like this. Now I've got the Baofeng. Now the Baofeng isn't my first choice, for these types of radios. If you can afford it, get like an HT, like any Yaesu HT. You can get these pretty cheap now. The Baofeng just has some issues with sensitivity, I think. It's not the greatest receiver. Transmission, don't get me wrong, is fantastic on the Baofeng, but you might want to upgrade to an HT like this. Also get a superior antenna, which I've got it hooked up to one on the roof. The other dual bander I like is the Yaesu 2980. No moving parts, no fans, no relays, nothing to wear out. It makes a really good packet radio. So we're going to do like a quick packet radio demonstration. That could be APRS, which is Advanced Packet Radio Service. Advanced, yeah, not reporting. Some people call it reporting. So APRS. So this is where you can do messaging from radio to radio or radio to cell phone. APRS is pretty cool. You can do AX.25 networking, bulletin boards, NetROM. You can do all of that with just the stuff you see lying right here on the table. So the DigiPi SD card image, which we talked about, available to patrons of the channel, is just now booting up on this Raspberry Pi, and it's hooked up to our Baofeng HT, and it is receiving right now, hopefully, and we start to see stations rolling in. Check that out. So station KN, if this will focus, 6ZHX is now just made a transmission, and we received it, and the radio interface board is working. So what this is doing is connecting the GPIO pins that DigiPi uses for push to talk, for the LED for carrier detect, for red for transmit, and blue if your phone's hooked up to it, like with APRS Droid or Radio Mail for iOS. That's a new client that's out there. And you can see all of these LEDs are lighting up and blinking and doing their thing. I can do a quick transmission. I don't know. Let me see if I can get out of I got way too many windows open, you guys. Let me see if I can do this. I'll do a quick transmission just so you can see all the LEDs light up. Let me make myself smaller. I don't know how this is going to work. All right. So I can go over to the DigiPi web interface, which is what we've got over here. And it looks like we've got, let me see. I have to reset that. I call it DigiPi rack because it looks like a rack, I think. I don't know. And I can start up APRS web chat. And this is like a web messaging interface. So we can actually start transmitting and receiving using the DigiPi and the new radio interface board. Okay, now I'm going to click on web chat down here. And it's going to fire up. I probably got some existing chats here. So I can actually do a send position here. So I can say send position. Now you're going to watch the DigiPi. This red LED is going to light up here. And of course, the Baofeng is going to do its thing, do a send position. And it lights up, transmits, and I don't know if I got a repeat or not. Did I get a repeat? No, I didn't get a repeat. That's okay, though. I think I'm at a full 5 watts. I might be on low power. I'll send another one. Let's just do this. And we're doing another transmission. Boom, it goes out. Hey, there I am. We see KM6LYW at the bottom of that screen, so I did get a repeat on that. So we've got full duplex packet radio using the DigiPi SD card image that goes to patrons of the channel that does all of the data modes you can think of. This is all of them. And then we've got Randy's new radio interface board, so you don't have to do all of the soldering and squish the little FET together and kind of wrap the resistor around things. So it just makes it so much easier, and the price is right too, and you know it's ham-made equipment. So I think we did a good demonstration here. We've got the DigiPi online. We're using a Baofeng. We're using a radio interface board that Randy put together that you can get to get your DigiPi online. So none of this would be possible, especially without Randy. Randy, your special guest star today. In fact, what we might do is have Randy on live here. I don't know. Randy, let me know what you think. We'll go that route. And you can tell us, what your ideas are for this, maybe now and for the future. I know other people have also made printed circuit boards. I didn't want to say this is like a brand new thing. Other people have made some really cool boards. In fact, a lot of them look a lot like this. But Randy is the first guy who's really putting this online and making this available for sale. Okay, so check out, I'm going to say it over and over here if I can find it. Where do we put Randy's? Right here. Check out n7ebb.org to get the radio interface board right here. I'm going to make this a little smaller so you can see the whole thing. And check it out. It's just cool. It just totally makes it a finished product. For extra credit, you can make a case for this thing. I really suck at the 3D printing stuff still. So we still need a case for this, you guys. So this is a complete rack, really simple to build for a dual bander radio. Again, if you have like an ICOM 705, you don't need any of this extra hardware because you just use a USB cable with the DigiPi. So you would just have a Raspberry Pi and a USB cable, and that'd be it. But for these dual band rigs, if you want to do this on the cheap, man, you really can, especially with Randy's device here. All right, this wouldn't be possible without the patrons of the channel. All of you have access to the DigiPi SD card image, and you are now using all of the data modes that exist. That's what's totally cool. Let me straighten this out a little bit. So Steve, Andrew, NW2W, Foo, BS, that's Brian, Chris, Malcolm, Jim, Paul, Jake, Buddy, Brown, Robert, Kevin, Ryan, Eddie, Aaron, William, Scott, Jeff, W0LED, thank you guys so much. I'm going to scroll through these quickly. There are so many of you, I can't possibly read all of these names here. This has been kind of a new format. I don't know. I got a lot of cameras going here. I got some different lighting. What do you guys think? I got some overhead lighting. Hopefully this, is actually, you can actually read the screen now. And what I really need is like a new camera or something. So let me know how the production value, if it's increasing at all. I am looking at some better cameras. All right, patrons, we are still scrolling through you guys. This has been kind of a banner month. There's like 1,000 of you now. I hate, it almost sounds like I'm bragging, but what this means is there's that many more people out there on the electromagnetic spectrum willing and able to talk using digital modes. So we really are advancing the art by getting everyone online with the DigiPi. Everyone's using PSK31 to talk. We're doing slow scan television, JS8, call, everyone's talking with that. DigiPi makes it so you can access all those apps using nothing more than your Wi-Fi device or your cell phone. It works with APRS Droid. It's a KISS TNC. So you don't need to be a Linux expert, right, to get this online. So we really are increasing adoption for digital mode. So guys, thank you very much. Hey, my name is Craig. I am in California, call sign KM6LYW, and I am clear.